Hey guys, guess what? In this episode, I'm going to be interviewing a guest. So, yeah, in this episode, I'm going to be interviewing a returning guest that has come on the show multiple times, and that is Adam Gold. You guys will really enjoy it because we just talk about the things that happened this past offseason with the Hurricanes, like the Miller trade, the Ehlers signing, and much more. We even touched on the second line center problem, and I really hope you enjoy. But first things first, I have a great partnership with SeatGeek, so you can get $20 off of your first purchase if you use promo code Caniac Reports. All one word. Is a great deal if you're trying to save money on some tickets. And also remember, there will not be an episode on September 1st, which is Labor Day. So don't expect an episode on that day. And another thing, too, is if you're watching on YouTube, please be sure to hit that like button. If you comment down below, and please subscribe and hit that notification bell so you never miss another episode. And if you are listening wherever you get your podcast, whether that's Apple, Spotify, please leave a rating and a review. It really does help out. And yeah, this episode it's a pretty long episode. Shouldn't surprise anybody because we know Adam loves talking Hurricanes hockey, and I love talking hockey with him. It was a very fun interview, and I hope you enjoy it. All right, so we are here with Adam Gold. He hosts the Adam Gold Show and also does the Kings Corner podcast. And how's your summer going so far?
Good. It's too hot. I need hockey so I could be near a large sheet of ice
I
badly.
agree. I agree with you, especially since I work in the HVAC field.
There
So,
you go.
first things first. Hurricanes have done quite a bit of stuff this
Yeah.
offseason. I think it raises questions, obviously, with what they've done so far. But I want to get to actually the goaltending. So they added some depth pieces with Caden Primo, Amir Mitikov. Obviously, you still have Anderson Kachekov. How do you view the goaltending, not just at the NHL level, but as a whole?
I think the goaltending is good. I mean, Caden Primo is a better option than um, Spencer Martin. And I don't even remember the other guy's name, to be honest. But the goaltending got better. So Frederick Anderson, I mean, it's always been about health. I can't tell you how many people hit me up on Twitter. Well, the Hurricanes need a top 10 goalie. I'm like, the Hurricanes have a top 10 goalie. He just needs to be healthy. When Frederick Anderson is healthy, he's a top 10 goalie in the NHL. I mean, the numbers scream that. So I'm glad with Anderson and Kachetkov. I'm happy with that. Again, they need health out of Freddie. Freddie's not going to play 55 times. If Freddie starts, who knows if he's going to start, more than 35, 38 times. He's going to miss some. I mean, everybody's going to miss some time. Well, I shouldn't say everybody, but Freddie sure will. But if he makes anywhere from 35 to 40 starts and Kachetkov makes anywhere from 35 to 40 starts, and then you've got Caden Primo just kind of picking a couple of starts up here and there as needed based on injury and what the lineup looks like. And then we have the Olympic break too, so Freddie's going to play a lot for Denmark. I think the goaltending got better. I got no problem with it. If Freddie's healthy, I still think the head coach could learn a little bit about not abusing Freddie. And abuse is not necessarily the most accurate word there. But overusing Freddie is overusing Freddie, and you run the risk of wearing him out. So probably need a little bit more of Kachetkov in the postseason than we saw this year. Maybe not a lot, but then again, maybe Kachetkov will make the decision moot by getting rid of the bad goals, in which case Kochetkov could be pretty good. We'll see.
Yeah, I'm sure you probably agree. Kochetkov is the ultimate wild card. You kind of know where you're getting with Anderson, but you just don't
Yeah,
know what you're getting.
I've said a lot about Kochetkov that I think his ceiling's probably higher than Freddie's. And Freddie's got a high ceiling. We saw it in the playoffs. I mean, Freddie was just awesome. I mean, the series, he was great against the Devils. He was great against the Capitals. You know, Florida has a way of bringing everybody back down to earth, not just
Yeah.
Anderson. So, yeah, I personally, if and I talked to Rod about it, if they can get the bad goals out of Kochetkov, he's excellent. If they can just eliminate the bad ones. What was the game? I think it was a game against Anaheim this year where he played great, except he allowed 3 bad goals.
Yeah.
And they ended up losing again. I think it was an overtime game. Was it Cutter Gauthier had 2 bad angle goals from not that close in? I think it was Cutter Gauthier,
Yeah, it
including
was.
the overtime winner, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like you were great, except you weren't. There was a game in Tampa. Was it this year? It might have been last year. I don't remember now. I think it was this year, where he was awesome, really outplayed Andrei Vasilevsky, except he allowed a not great goal with 48 seconds left or whatever it was to Braden Point. So if he can get the bad goals out of his system, then Carolina's goaltending tandem is really good.
Yeah. What do you think it is with Kochetkov when it comes to letting in those bad goals? Do you think it's a mental thing?
Yeah,
You
it's
do?
concentration, I think.
Yeah. That's
I
what I'm
really do.
thinking too.
Because
Yeah.
we've seen games where he's locked in.
Yeah, we have.
And like he went through, trying to remember the stretch. He played in Ottawa. I think it was Ottawa, although I could be getting confusing 2 years. He played a game in Philadelphia where I remember in the post game and in the podcast after, to me, it was the best game he had played as a pro. And it wasn't like Philly was great, but you could tell that his reads were so good. He made every situation look easy because he anticipated so well. And like some people would call it guessing. I didn't see it as guessing. I saw it as reading plays incredibly well. And he made difficult situations really just look simple. And of course, the next game was the stretch that really sent him the other way. But because he had about a 5 or 6 game stretch where he was just awesome. And Trip Tracy and I were talking about, is Kochetkov making a push to be the guy when the playoffs started? And as soon as we started talking about that, Kochetkov said, "Nah, I'm not. I'm really not. Let's let Freddie handle it." So, yeah. But if he gets rid of the bad goals, if he can lock in terms of his concentration, then Carolina's got a good goalie system.
Yeah, they do. And it seems like he always mostly does well against Russian goalies for some reason.
It's amazing. Like it's not even a joke. His performance, the win-loss record is what it is, but the performance against Vasilevsky, Bobrovsky, he was the guy in net when they beat Bobrovsky 1-0 2
Yep.
years ago when Sebastian Aho scored with a handful of seconds left. Yeah, and he's done well against Vasilevsky, against Bobrovsky, against Shesterkin, against Sorokin. His record against those guys is just awesome. So
Yeah, that's a very interesting stat. And obviously, Caden
I actually
Prim.
might have it. I'm going to leaf back through notes here that I still have from
Oh, wow.
last year. If I can find it during the course of our conversation, I'll let you know what it is.
Okay, yeah, if you could, that'd be interesting.
Of course it will be.
Yeah. And Caden Primo, I agree with you. I think he's an upgrade over Spencer Martin. Very cool that his father played for the Hurricanes and Keith
Oh,
Primo.
isn't it a full circle moment?
It is.
Rod Brindamore is here because his dad couldn't, Caden Primo's father couldn't
Yep.
come to a contract agreement, so they shipped him to Philly for Brindamore. That's just awesome.
I know it really, really is. So we talked about goaltending. Now defense. I want to get to the signing of Mike Riley first. We'll get to the big fish later.
Starting with Mike Riley, I like
Yeah.
that.
Yeah, so Mike Riley. When I saw that signing, I was like, I think he's definitely an upgrade over like Ty Smith. From what I have
Sam,
seen. Yeah.
you're an upgrade over Ty Smith. No offense to you. You might be great. I don't know. I don't
I
want to
don't
make
play
that.
hockey, so
I don't want to make that to be disparaging towards you. Ty Smith, to me, was utterly useless.
yeah,
If
he
Ty
wasn't
Smith was good, he would have played,
Yeah.
like in the playoffs. They didn't even. I was a little surprised. They didn't even use. I guess Stillman dressed once, right?
Yeah, Stillman did dress
Yeah,
once.
and they didn't really use him. He was the better option than Ty Smith was a waste.
Yeah, I think Ty Smith is playing in Russia now. I think is
Is
last I
he?
heard.
Okay, good for him.
Yeah. Yep.
Go ahead, go play. He'll eventually sign with the Islanders, is my guess.
Yeah. But Mike Riley, have you seen lots of clips of him? Do you know what the Canes are getting with Mike Riley?
Canes are getting a good, smart, puck moving defenseman who can even help out a little bit on a power play if he's forced into action. I think this is a super smart signing because it guarantees that the seventh defenseman, and how many games did Carolina play with either Scott Morrow or Ty Smith last year? It guarantees that extra defenseman is a legit top six NHL defenseman. I mean, he's a third pair, and you don't want him playing more than 16 minutes a night or so, but that's what the third pair is going to play.
Yep.
So I think it's a super smart decision by the organization to bring him in. I really do. Love it.
Yeah. Would you be surprised if they tried to get another depth defenseman just because you can never have too much depth?
Would I be surprised? They've not done that in the past. So my surprise would be it would be breaking from the norm. I know it sounds like a cliche, but I have said it at every trade deadline. Go out, get yourself an NHL defenseman who can play. So you're not forced to use rookies. Believe me, Rod Brindamore did not want to write Scott Morrow's name on the lineup sheet. He didn't really want to write Alexander Nikishin's name on the lineup sheet. And you saw what happened against Florida when those guys had to play. Nikishin, what did he play? 4 games, 5 games? I don't even know what it was. 1 against Washington, and then I guess 3 against, was it 3 or 4 against Florida? I don't even remember. It doesn't matter. He played 1 really good game. I guess that was game 4, right? When the game that Carolina won.
Mm-hmm.
He had like 2 good shifts in the Washington game that we unfortunately blew up to mean, oh man, you can tell he's got he was a mistake walking or skating, I guess, in this case. And Morrow was never at any point good in the playoffs.
No.
And those 2, I mean, you can't have a third of your defense be bad. I mean, you can, especially against Florida. Florida's going to make good defensemen look bad. So, yeah, Carolina's got to get to, when they get to the deadline based on health, they probably need to add a bona fide NHL defenseman. Somebody obviously it's going to play on your bottom pair or not play. But I will quantify it by saying this. I will be interested to see how many of Carolina's young defensemen get, at least a cameo. I'm looking forward to training camp. I want
Yeah.
to see what Charles Alexis Legault looks like. I want to see who is it? Joel Nistra, right? I want to
Mhm.
see I want to see him play a little bit in the preseason. I am curious about, especially the guys on the right side. I am curious about how some of these guys look when we get to training camp. Not that they're going to make the team or anything like that. Carolina's got their defense, but over the course of the season, you're going to get injuries. I want to see some of these guys play because, I mean, at some point, these guys have to go somewhere. They have to keep bumping up. Otherwise, they're not really prospects.
Yep.
So I think Carolina's got, some guys that at least on a bottom pair. I think it just bears watching. Um, and who knows what happens during the course of the season. I mean, I know we're going to talk about it because you started with Mike Riley, but at some point, will Carolina go in for a right shot defenseman? Because right now they got 7, players on the blue line, and 5 of them are lefties. So is Carolina going to go in for a right shot? And if they do, which I actually think they should,
Yeah, I do too.
what happens? Like, what pieces do they use to move? I mean, are they going to get in on Rasmus Anderson? I don't know. They were at one point, but they weren't willing to pay what Calgary wants, and we'll see what happens. But if I were them, I would be thinking about a right shot D man to add to the mix. But somebody would have to go out on at the
Exactly.
other end. So we'll see.
Yep. Well, that leads into the segue of the big fish with Keandre Miller being that fifth left-handed defenseman. And what do you think of that trade?
Well, here's what this is very funny. I guess. I mean, I think it's funny. It might not be funny at all. The day of the first day of free agency,
Mm-hmm.
literally, we're at the end of the first hour of the show. For people who don't know, I do a radio show, starts at noon, ends at 3. Free agency begins at noon. Logan Stankoven's contract came over at I don't know, 20 minutes before the show started.
Yeah, it happened really early.
So and we do a segment at the end of the first hour called One Timers, where people, send in questions. A lot of them are hockey questions. Okay, good. I'm happy to answer. And I actually said out loud right before the top of the hour, I wonder if Carolina would be interested in making a trade for Keandre Miller. I realized because at that point it didn't look like Bouchard had already signed with Edmonton, and I'm not a big Evan Bouchard guy because you're paying a guy a lot of money to not care about defending.
Mm-hmm.
And Aaron Ekblad was going to go back at that point. I mean, if I were Carolina, that's the guy I would have been all over. Either he or Marchand, had they gotten to free agency, I would have gone nuts for both of them. But with a lack of right shot defensemen available, I said, be interested to see if Carolina has any interest in Keandre Miller, because I remember the 24 playoff series. And for my money, Miller was the best defenseman.
Yeah, he was.
I mean, better than Fox, better than Schneider, better than Trouba, whoever they had on the back end. To me, Miller was their best defenseman in that series. And he's 25 and he's 6'5" and he's 210. He can move the puck. He's got offensive skill. Maybe the Rangers wanted him to be more physical, but he can play physical. And I mean, whether he does it on a regular basis or not, I've seen him play, right up to the line in terms of, hey, don't do that.
Yeah.
So, is he a nasty player? I wouldn't call him nasty, but I think he has shown that he can be at times. So, I mean, I loved everything about this trade. The only thing I didn't like was it just makes Carolina very left-handed. Um, but I don't think in year one that's bad, because I will be very surprised if Alexander Nikishin plays in a top 4 role. Certainly not to start the season.
Well, he's a rookie. You have to expect him to be that
I mean,
rookie.
we might be 2 years away from Nikishin being a top 4
Yeah.
NHL defenseman. I spoke to somebody who played with him. I think I've already referenced him sort of in this little conversation. I asked him, said, "What do you think?" Said, "Can he come here and be a top 4 defenseman?" He goes, "Not now." He says, "Down the road, yeah, of course, but he's going to struggle with the pace of the game, which is faster and more physical than it is in the KHL, which I think we kind of saw. Even against Washington, I thought we saw it. So, he give him third pair minutes, third pair matchups. Let him take advantage of some other, some the bottom pairs and third and fourth lines. Let him ease into it. So, K'Andre Miller could play 23 minutes a night in year one. I wouldn't be surprised. So I loved everything about it. The contract wasn't bad either to me. I did get a question like, how do you pay him more than Slavin? I'm like, that can't be our ceiling. Just because Slavin's on a contract that is, honestly, why did you sign that?
Well, I thought he took a team-friendly deal when he signed that.
Yeah, he did. A team BFF deal. Well, 6.5. It's under $6.5 million.
It is, which is crazy.
Insanity. So, I mean, good for him. I mean, he signed what what you're comfortable with is fine. That's basically the most Brad Marchand ever made. Of course, different time, but he signed a year before his contract ran out, and maybe before we knew what the cap was going to be. In 2 years, cap's going to be $113.5 million. Yeah. I mean, Slavin's going to make nothing. So, I mean, good for Carolina to get him on that deal. So, yeah, but they're talking about possibly even moving Slavin to the right side. I wouldn't do it, but
yeah, I wouldn't either.
Miller and Slavin, if Slavin could play the right side and not have any drop off, then yeah, sign me up.
Yeah, well, you kind of answered my next question because of all the left-handed defensemen. I mean, there could be a lot of different pairs coming through this season. I mean, what do you think of possibly the possible pairs Brennanmore's probably going to do?
Well, I did a little bit on the podcast about this. There's 2 ways to do it. There's the boring way, which is the way I think they'll go and they should go, and that's Slavin. I do Slavin Chatfield, Miller Walker, and Nikishin Gostisbehere on the right side. That's the boring way of doing it. And then there's the Nikishin's a top 4 guy, and I'm not saying he is, but let's just assume that he has an incredible training camp and they decide to start him in the top 4, and then it's some combination of Miller, Nikishin, Chatfield, and Slavin in your top 4. And maybe it's Miller and Slavin, Nikishin, and Chatfield. I actually spoke to Jalen before Game 5 against Florida, and I saw him downstairs, and I said, "How you doing?" And he goes, "I'm real close." I'm like, "They need you." And I said, "Nikishin needs you." And he just laughed. Because I think he's also looking at the possibility down the road of playing with this guy, because I think it would be a great pair. But so there was 2 ways to do it. But I think last year, and I couldn't believe how many people couldn't see this. Carolina had almost no flexibility on the blue line at all.
No, they didn't.
Burns, you couldn't it. And maybe this is a knock on Brent Burns. I don't mean it that way. Burns couldn't cover for somebody else. Burns really had a very good year as a defensive defenseman, which is
Mhm.
unusual for somebody like Brent Burns.
Yep.
Did he make his mistakes? Sure. Most of the mistakes he made were giving the puck away. He didn't make too many defensive mistakes. He was one of the best in the entire NHL in the penalty kill, and he was just otherwise very solid all year long. With that said, he wasn't capable of covering for, let's just say, Shane Gostisbehere's mistakes or
Yeah.
Dmitry Orlov's mistakes. So moving him off of Slavin's line created other problems. And frankly, Slavin and Burns are pretty good. So why would I even consider moving him off that line? Um, Chatfield and Orlov were a very good pair. Dmitry had a weird year. I still think, on the whole, I thought he was good. But when he was bad, oh boy,
Yeah.
was he bad. And he had some really bad moments in the playoffs, but he also had good moments in the playoffs. And then it took Walker a while, but Walker, I thought, got better and better as the year went
I
on.
did too.
And I know
Especially in the
that,
playoffs, I thought.
oh, he was tremendous until he got hurt.
Yeah.
The I know people are talking about Walker as a playing with Slavin, but I don't know. I mean, there's just a different it's different when you're playing in a third pair. And I know he elevated in the playoffs at times, and he was playing. He played a couple of periods with Slavin, and they moved Burns down with Gostisbehere. Um, but man, you telling me that Sean Walker's gonna be what, like 82 games of 22, 23 minutes a night playing with Slavin? Really? I just don't see it. That doesn't mean I don't think he's good. I think he's very good. But I don't see him as a top pair right-sided defenseman. Although Tony DeAngelo was for a year.
Yeah, he
Um,
was.
so that's how good Slavin is. And
Mhm.
I would argue that it was probably Tony's best overall season in his entire NHL career. But the Hurricanes were not disillusioned by what he was. They had an idea of what Tony DeAngelo was, and um, they put a value on it, and Tony disagreed with it. So the Hurricanes sent him to Philadelphia, who found out that the Hurricanes are probably right.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, I don't see Sean Walker as being a fit playing in a top role. Um, but the way I look at it, he's going to be probably on your second pair if it's Slavin and Chatfield, which would be Carolina's
Shut
legit
down.
first shutdown defensive pair um, since Shea and Pesci were a thing.
Yeah. Actually, I mean, the thing with Nikishin, I've said this on an episode before, but uh, I've always thought they should probably play someone who shoots right-handed to play with Nikishin, just to like ease him into it, because he was thrown into the fire, obviously.
Well, if they start him on a third pair, more than likely it'll be Gostisbehere playing with him. So, can we convince Shane to shoot right-handed?
Yeah.
Good athlete. Let's find out how he plays golf. Does he play golf left-handed?
I don't know if he does. Well, we talked about the defense a ton. Now I want to talk about the forwards here, and obviously the biggest name coming to free agency, Nikolai Ehlers. It took him some time. Obviously, I think it was day 3 where he made his announcement he was coming to Carolina. Did you have any doubt he was going to come here, or no?
Yeah, I
You
did.
did.
I didn't.
Okay.
I actually thought he would end up. I thought when I heard Colorado was interested, I thought he would end up there. I know they have cap issues, but you don't have to be cap compliant now.
Yeah.
And I know that Colorado is probably looking to move Natchez. So, because I don't believe they're interested in signing him to a long-term contract. So they could have signed Ehlers as a free agent, knowing that they were going to move Martin Natchez's contract away. And I still think that I'm not going to be surprised if Natchez starts the season with Colorado. But I'll be surprised if he finishes it there, unless they decide that they are going to. He gets off to a great start and they realize, no, we got to pay this guy $9 million a year. Then I guess he'll force their hand. But I think they're going to move him. So that this would have just hastened it for me. So I thought he would end up in Colorado. But hey, look, I'm glad Carolina got him because I think he's, and this is not just my opinion. I mean, facts say that he's a very good offensive player. He's not necessarily a goal scorer, but he can score goals. Like to me, Sebastian Aho isn't necessarily a goal scorer, but he scores goals. And that's the way I look at Nick Ehlers. I think he's just a very talented piece to add to your forward group. And if he gets more ice time, his numbers will likely go up. It's funny. I've heard a lot of people say that, maybe he'll get more power play time. I'm like, he was fourth among forwards, or either third or fourth on Winnipeg, I think, among forwards on power play time on ice.
Yeah, he's really good on the power play.
How much more power play time can he get? I mean, like, he's not Scheifele. He's not Kyle Connor. He's not Gabe Velarde. But I think he was the next best forward on that team. So I had, again, he played plenty on the power play. And he's been good. Not amazing, but he's been good on the power play. And I just think he's an all-around good offensive player. He'll make Carolina better offensively. Also, I mean, this could be small sample size, but seems like I watch and he has no trouble finishing breakaways.
Oh, that's good.
We could use that.
Yeah, we could.
Although Sebastian Aho was one for his last one, right?
Yes, he was. Especially that goal against Florida, the last game.
That's what I was talking about.
Yeah.
And, he didn't even try to make a move. Let me just shoot it.
That's why I liked about that, because I'm sure he always tries to go 5-hole.
5-hole. Sebastian, elevate the puck, babe.
Yes.
Just elevate it. Bar down.
Yep, bar down. But obviously with the signing of Ehlers, I'm sure you probably knew. First of all, I actually liked the signing. I thought 6 years was perfect.
I don't even understand. Why not? I mean, I'm okay with 6, but what happened to 7? It's very possible that the number came in a little bit lower, and the Hurricanes said, all right, we've got the total number here. Let's just do it for 6 years. So your average annual value will be higher, but you'll be a free agent after 6 years.
Yeah. Well, it's going to be like that after the next season.
Right, but you're not bound by it.
No, you're not.
Andre Miller's contract's 8 years.
Yeah, it is.
Mitch Marner's contract's 8 years. So I just wonder if the number wasn't a little bit lower. The overall, average value wasn't a little bit lower, but the Hurricanes said, all right, can we make a compromise here? We'll go to 6 years and we'll jack up the total price, the average price by just a little bit. Who knows?
Yeah. Well, obviously with the addition of Ehlers, that I thought raised some questions there, because now you have more I would say you have probably more wingers specifically than roster spaces. And to me, that comes down to a question of the second line center spot. I mean, I'm sure you agree Ehlers wasn't a need, but
no.
Nor
was a left-sided defenseman.
No. But he brought physicality. That's what I
No,
like
no,
about
I'm just
Miller.
saying.
We needed that.
Like I love Miller. I'm
Yeah.
glad they got him, and I love Ehlers, and I know the organization has really liked Ehlers for a long time, and I'm glad they got
Yeah,
him.
they have. Yep.
So if you're the Hurricanes and you're not going to go out and acquire a second line center, or for that matter, a first line center, like somebody told me when JT Miller was available, like if you get Miller, he's automatically your best player. And Miller would probably be Carolina's first center, although it doesn't really matter. Rod doesn't number his lines. I don't know if you've heard that before. But he's certainly somebody who can play in your top two lines. Now, a lot of the available players are players who would obviously be like if Carolina went after, I keep saying this, maybe I'll speak it into existence one day, but if the Hurricanes went to the Bruins and said, what do you give us? What do you want from us for Elias Lindholm? Lindholm would be a second center. So that's
Oh yeah.
exactly what he would be.
Hmm.
He's not challenging Aho for first line status, but he'd be a second center.
And he shoots right-handed, which is kind of nice.
I'm going to make myself crazy trying to explain why I think Lindholm would be a good fit here. But unless they do something like that, and I don't believe they are inclined to do it now, I'm not saying they won't down the road, then I would expect, and I talked to Rod about this.
I did watch that clip actually.
I would expect, and I think it would be Seth Jarvis, not Logan Stankoven, although both are capable. I would expect that when we watch training camp and the 2 games or whatever that Jarvis plays in the preseason, and we might see Stankoven do it too. I would expect both of those guys to be playing center.
If it
The
was up to
Hurricanes,
you, who would you pick between the two players?
Jarvis. I mean, I would pick Seth.
I would too. It's just we know that chemistry with Aho, and the question
Right.
is, are you really?
You'll still have it on the power play.
Yeah, you will.
The thing about Seth is that, and this is not a knock on Stankoven. Seth's a legitimately good defensive player.
Oh, he is.
So, so I think he's already handled that element of the game. The head coach has supreme trust in him defensively. So as long as that stays the same and there's not I guess an injury, but you could see I even guys who are hurt, and Jarvis obviously is hurt because the shoulder won't be right until he gets surgery, but he says it doesn't impact his ability to play hockey. It would only impact his ability to play football because he's a quarterback, but he doesn't have to play football. Anyway, I think Jarvis is defensively equipped to play the position. The only question is, and this has always been Rod's problem, what do I lose on the wing?
Yeah.
What kind of offensive player do I lose on the wing? But because you can only have so many wingers playing in your top two lines, Jarvis moving over alleviates the problem. So now you could have Svechnikov, Aho, and Ehlers on your top line. I know there's people who tell me that Ehlers plays the left side. I think he plays both.
I think he does too.
I don't mind him on the right. Frankly, to me, I'd rather on my team have all of my wingers playing their offside. All of them.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, same here.
I mean, you can go around somebody with the puck on your backhand. I think if you look, Andrei Svechnikov's best, explosive speed, power moves where he goes around a defenseman and to the goal are always down the right side. And I would say the same thing about Jarvis down the left. These are all their offside. To me, it would be easy. I wouldn't want any of my wingers to be playing their natural side. I love them on the offside. Obviously, there's a one-timer possibility.
Yep.
Certainly on the power play, I think that's the way to go. But anyway, I think Ehlers can play the right. And then on your second line, whether I'll just say Hall, Jarvis, and Blake. Who knows what that is?
Yeah.
Is that the line? I have no idea. Maybe it's Eric Robinson, right? I mean, Robinson we saw it last year for a time. Robinson, Kokaniemi, and Natchez. That was awesome. So, yeah, that's what I think they'll do. I think they'll move Jarvis inside. And I'm just because I mentioned his name, let me just give you 30 seconds on this. There's an assumption that Mark Jankowski is their fourth center. And if Jarvis moves into the middle, that Kokaniemi is somehow out of the lineup, they're not buying him out. And unless they trade him, I find it impossible to see Kokaniemi as a healthy extra to start the season. He's going to have to play his way out of the lineup. So
he was my next question.
There you go. I knew
KK.
I could see your notes. Yep. To me, Kokaniemi would start the season as the fourth center. And let's say what you want. I think it would be beholden on him. Like this is here for you to take advantage of. And if you can play a good physical, aggressive game, you can take advantage of this matchup as a fourth center. So he'd be a better option. Honest, I like Jankowski, but the best of Kokaniemi is better than the best of Jankowski. The problem with Kokaniemi is that they so rarely get consistently the best of him. So, I don't think it makes Kokaniemi disposable at all. I think it puts him in just a different part of the lineup, but I think he can play there.
Yeah, I've had a huge opinion on KK. I mean, I agree. I think his upside's better than Jankowski's just because of how he's played. I'm like, I like Jankowski better than KK.
Oh, I do too, but the reason I like Jankowski better is I think Jankowski plays a more even. Like I know what I'm going to get.
Yeah, you actually do.
I think it's not that the weird thing is that even KK playing poorly, I mean, it's not as good as what I'm going to consistently get from Jankowski, who, by the way, also showed that he can finish, which is pretty good. But if you could get anything resembling consistently, this is for KK, B performances, then it would be a no-brainer he'd go in the lineup. So, I mean, he's been good in the faceoff circle too, Kokaniemi. He's developed into a 50% plus guy. All Carolina's guys are 50% or more in the faceoff. Rod Brindamore must teach him how to cheat.
Yeah. Well, I mean, he was the center himself, so.
I think Aho, I believe, led him during the season. Drury was leading them until the time of the trade.
Wow, that's interesting. Well, here's my last question. Because according to Puckpedia, Carolina has $10.9 million left in cap space. Do you think this team is done or not?
I think they're done for now.
You think we'll get a better answer when it comes to like training camp time, maybe, or
I think it'll be after the season starts. There's a reason. There are no teams that with 32 teams in the NHL, 31 of them are trying to make playoffs. Only Pittsburgh's not. Every team is like, how do we get better? How do we find, 3 more points, 5 more points, whatever it is? Buffalo's all in. Mm-hmm. So I mean, it takes two.
Yeah.
And I mean, I know Carolina can give up good assets to get what they really will say need, right? They could give up, and I'm going to leave just a name out of it. They can give up a top six winger
Yeah.
right now for them. They could
I'm
give up,
guessing you're Jackson Blake, maybe, or
yeah, whoever. I mean, you could
yeah.
give up hell. I mean, I think in the right deal, I wouldn't be completely, I mean, blindsided if it was Andre.
No, I really wouldn't either.
And it's not that again, that's not a negative to Andre. I think the Hurricanes have like six no way on this earth we're moving players. You Aho, Jarvis, well, more than that because Stahl and Martinook are in that group too. But Jarvis, Aho, Ehlers, Stahl and Martinook among the forwards, Slavin, Nikishin, and Miller on defense. I could see anybody else getting traded. Well, Stankov is not going to get traded, so I could probably add to this list the more I think about it. But
I hope he
uh,
doesn't. He's becoming one of my favorite players.
oh, he's just phenomenal to watch.
Oh, he is.
And that's another. I mean, who knows? You know, we sit here and go, "Well, that contract could be amazing in a few years." Yeah, it could be. If he becomes like a 50-point scorer, 55-point scorer, if he can get to 25 goals, man, $6 million a year with where the cap is headed. My gosh, that's gonna be like a third line. I realize he's playing on a third line, but he won't event in the future. Look, Carolina is in very, very good shape contract wise. But with all these teams trying to win now, it's going to have to be proven to them that not everybody can win. So, with that said, I think they go into training camp as is, try to solve their problems from within, meaning Jarvis in the middle.
Hmm.
And then when teams realize when they get to, would just say Thanksgiving, and we ain't gonna make the playoffs.
Yep.
Um, whoever that is, you know, do they have something that you want, and you can help them with a little bit of young talent, some prospects? Yeah, I think that's where I think Carolina will be in very, very good shape. I know it's a big free agent crop next year. You don't have to spend all your money now. They'll give themselves some flexibility, and yeah, I expect them to have everything at their disposal to go out and add a big piece if they want during the season.
Yeah. They have the capital to do it,
Oh
I
my
think.
gosh,
They
they
still
have
have Dallas's first round pick and another third round pick from Dallas.
yes, yeah, they do. I mean, um, here's what I just would caution this team. Um, Historically, obviously, I know that's changed the last couple of years. They don't really do deadlines. They don't do trade deadlines. Uh, the Rantanen thing was not a trade deadline move for them. I know I get a lot of pushback. It was not a move for this year, for I guess for last year. It was never thought of that way. That's what
It was about part of the future too.
it was in the move was it made entirely because they thought that they would be able to keep Rantanen. Didn't work out. Um, they the Gensel thing, front office screwed that up.
Yeah, they did.
They've admitted it. They screwed it up. Forget about what the national narrative is. I know what happened. They know what happened. Um, the Rantanen thing was never about 2025. It was always about the next 8 years. And I give them credit for taking the chance. Didn't work
Yes, I
out.
do too.
They pivoted very well. Probably made out better than you could have hoped.
Mm-hmm.
after that whole thing blew up. But they were not, once they realized they weren't going to keep him beyond the year, they were not in any way, shape, or form not going to trade Rantanen. They were going to get some assets back and not make it a total loss. My opinion, once Rantanen knew he wasn't staying, now it might have changed after the deadline passed, and I'll just assume it would have. Um, but as soon as Rantanen realized he wasn't staying, which, my opinion, educated guess here, happened during Four Nations, um, I thought he checked out. I thought he was
I
no
did too.
good. I thought
Yeah.
he was no good after Four Nations. He was good leading into Four Nations. I don't disagree. He and Jackson Blake each should have had a point a game in that stretch. What, 6 or 7 games?
Mm-hmm.
I don't know how Jackson Blake couldn't, between Blake and Rantanen, they should have had, I don't know, 10 points in that 6 or 7 game stretch. It's mind blowing they didn't, but whatever. But after Four Nations, I thought Rantanen was no good. And I still don't understand why they played him against Boston that night.
Yeah,
No clue.
I mean, I was wondering if he was going to stay or not, but once the Boston game hit and he played, and honestly, I just think how the way he played Boston, I was like, I think they're going to trade him. Just
Well, I mean,
it's
if
just so resigned.
he just exerted no effort in the game.
Yeah, I know.
I mean, because he was clearly trying to not get hurt. I just don't. I mean, to me, that was the one decision all year long that I'm like, that makes no sense. None. I almost wonder if it was done to create the illusion that they weren't going to move him.
That's what I was thinking too.
But I mean, he was no good in that game in particular. He was bad. I mean, he looked like he gave no effort. But I'm looking forward to January 6th when Dallas comes in.
Oh,
I
that's
mean, I
going to be
don't.
something.
I harbor zero ill will on Rantanen, but it'll be an Eric Holla treatment.
Oh, yeah,
Yeah,
it's going to
but
be
it's that's
obvious.
what's going to happen.
Yep. Well, I'm happy you touched on the Stankoven deal. I forgot to get to that, but again, I think that was a great type of
Yeah.
contract.
Dynamite. He plays so well with Stahl and Martinook. It's just an easy, natural fit. Jarvis played well there too.
Yeah, he did.
That's, to me, that's the way Seth wants to play, and this is the way Stankoven wants to play. Perfect, perfect, and he can finish. He'll get some opportunities.
Yeah. My only thing with Stankoven, I just wish he was taller.
What lifts? What
Yeah.
lifts in the skates, man?
Yeah, exactly.
I see the commercials on TV for those sneakers that add 3 inches to your height.
Oh yeah, I've seen those too.
I'm going to buy a pair.
There you go. Well, Adam, thank you so much for coming on the
Anytime.
show for the millionth time because you've been on.
Well,
Our,
happy
our,
to do it.
yeah, thank you very very much.
I have these conversations with my wife, with my dogs. Like, it's good to have a conversation like that with somebody who cares.
Yeah. Well,
Although I assume the dogs care.
yeah. All right. Well, Adam, thank you so much. Have a nice
Anytime.
one. Well, I hope you enjoyed that episode because I know I enjoyed interviewing Adam. And even though I probably may have made it to be like an interview or not, I really tried to aim for like just a good conversation about Hurricanes hockey. And I can tell you this, it's just awesome. It really is having conversation that has the credibility like Adam Gold does. Because as you guys probably know, if you do listen to his Canes Corner podcast and his Adam Gold radio show, that he does definitely have ties to the Hurricanes organization, most prominently with Rod Brindamore, because he has a strong relationship with him there. So I really hope you enjoyed that episode, and I will see you guys next time.